In Turkey, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced a new economic roadmap for the country this week. He outlined his government's main economic goals for the next 3 years and said Turkey is on course to become one of the world's high-revenue countries. Turkey's year-end inflation is expected to come in at 65% in 2023, but over the next 3 years, that's expected to come down to single digits, falling to around 8.5% in 2026. The Turkish economy grew 3.9% in the first half of the year, and it's projected to expand by an average of 4.5% over the next 3 years. The government also aims to create almost 1 million jobs annually and support entrepreneurs. Meanwhile, the Istanbul Financial Centre is set to become the country's energy trading hub, home to markets for natural gas and other energy assets. The president says despite suffering the disaster of the century in February's earthquakes, the economy will become stronger and more secure in the near future.
We will reach single-digit inflation in the midterm, just like before. The disinflation process, supported by fiscal discipline, will strengthen the environment of trust and stability and will provide an export-oriented sustainable growth environment that will improve our business and investment environment.
Well, let's get more on this now with Erhan Aslanolu, an economics professor at Piri Reis University here in Istanbul. Good to have you back with us, Professor. The Turkish government has unveiled an ambitious set of economic goals for the next few years, including bringing inflation down to single digits and a GDP growth rate of around 4.5%. How realistic are those goals?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Actually, the medium-term program is quite comprehensive, and the macroeconomic targets are somehow consistent for this year and for next 3 years. But when we look at some details, one of the main questions that I can raise is for the growth rates. For the next 2 years, the growth rate is expected to be around 4.5%. And the inflation is expected to fall to around 15% within the 2 years. Actually, if this goal will be achieved, Turkey should have very limited domestic demand. Somehow, there shouldn't be a growth in domestic demand, but the external demand, foreign demand, should increase quite substantially. The world economy seems to be moving to recession or somehow slow growth rates in the next coming quarters. That may not help to boost the exports in that sense. And also to regain the competitiveness of the export sectors and industry would take some time. Achieving the 4% growth rate would be more feasible in 2025, but in 2024, 4% might be somehow optimistic. I hope that Turkey can achieve, but if the inflation is expected to go down, we should somehow be ready for lower growth rates, I think.
Now, this latest economic update comes after the Turkish president overhauled his economic management team in June. He appointed Mehmet Şimşek as the new economy and finance minister and also appointed Hafize Gaye Erkan as the new central bank governor. I know it's only been a few months into their tenure, but how would you judge their performance so far?
I think it's quite well. There are some constraints for the policy formation, for the implementation, but the direction of the policy and the main target of the policy, which is disinflation, is quite right and the right direction, I think. So far, we have seen that the CDS premiums, which measures the risk of the country, has fallen quite substantially, even if it is quite higher compared to peer countries. But this is that's one of the factors that shows the success of the program. And also, anecdotally, or also in some figures, we see that somehow stability in financial markets, in foreign exchange markets, in bond markets, and also the share stocks exchange market also appreciates the stability in the markets. So far, it seems to be successful, but especially the monetary policy, tight monetary policy should continue. And it should be more tighter in the next coming months in order to keep the stability and in order to keep to win the fight against inflation.